The movie begins with a 12-year-old boy named Quinn who is visiting his mother Karen, bringing her news that he's failed his exam, therefore he's lost his scholarship, and her mom tells him that she's broke and cannot afford his fees. One of the workers suddenly informs her that during drilling, they've discovered a strange cave. Quinn curiously stumbles into the cave and suddenly, fire starts on the floor. Fearfully, Quinn watches as the cave walls shake, realizing there's something moving on the walls. As he looks, an unknown creature spits on his face, making him run to his mom, who takes the boy and immediately washes his eyes. Suddenly, the entire work area starts to shake and a gust of flame bursts out of the cave. Karen grabs Quinn and runs to the elevator going up. As a terrified Quinn tries to mumble what he saw to his mother, suddenly, a dragon emerges from the flames and strikes the elevator from underneath, killing Karen on the spot. Once they were considered a myth, but now they are real. They have attacked humanity and humanity's defenses have proven to be futile, causing their worldwide spread. Quinn has grown into a leader of survivors of the new world where food and resources are scarce. One of the residents named Eddie intends to harvest the crops early so they can eat, to which Quinn replies that if they harvest now, there will be no seeds for the following season. Eddie argues if they don't eat now, they won't make it next season, reminding them that contact with other groups was lost years ago and they could be the only ones left. Quinn tells him to persevere for the time being, and Eddie tells him he doesn't want to follow his orders. Quinn forbids him from leaving the castle, taking Eddie's car keys in the process. Tensions rise and Quinn's friend, Creedy, steps in. Eddie tells Quinn that they live in a community, not a prison, to which Creedy tells him he's allowed to leave, but he can never come back. Hearing that, Eddie decides to stay. Later, Quinn and Creedy perform a show for local children and then have them recite a set of rules, as if they were a prayer. That night, Eddie steals a car key and wakes his friend Michael. They are then joined by several others and quietly sneak out in a vehicle. Quinn wakes up in the middle of the night, and finds a scared boy named Liam, who asks him if the noise he heard was a dragon, to which Quinn tells him it's just the wind, he can go back to sleep. Eddie and his group are picking tomatoes in the field. Barlow sees something in the sky and sounds the alarm to warn everyone. Hearing the alarm, Michael's wife reveals the truth. Eddie suddenly sees a dragon burn the fields. He rushes to rescue his friend Michael. They are then trapped in the fire, until Creedy and Quinn come to the rescue. Quinn decides not harm Eddie. The situation is more complicated now that all the crops are destroyed by the dragon. Quinn tells Creedy that they might not make it next year, but he will still have hope. The next day, a man picks up a signal and notifies another who, using his binoculars, sees tanks and immediately sounds the alarm. Residents arm themselves for defense. Creedy believes it's just another gang of scavengers, but when the vehicle stops, Creedy quickly gets more serious, when he realizes it's the Americans. The canopy of the tank opens and a man named Van Zan emerges, demanding to see the head of the camp. Quinn comes down and Van Zan explains they flew in from America but had to land in Manchester due to repairs. Quinn dismisses him, telling that the skies belong to the dragons. Van Zan tells Quinn he is a dragon hunter and had discovered their weakness. They have excellent day and night vision, but comes twilight, they are blind. As proof, he shows him a fang, yet Quinn remains skeptical still but lets the tank in. Creedy doesn't agree with this decision, as he fails to believe anything Van Zan has said. As they argue, a helicopter flies above them and lands. Van Zan introduces them to a pilot named Alex and her team, the Archangels. She explains the name is because they jump off the helicopter without parachutes to trap dragons with nets. Creedy laughs at the pilot. The pilot tells him she doesn't like his attitude. Quinn tells them they must be careful as far as security is concerned. Creedy still doesn't trust the Americans. Later, Alex bumps into Quinn in the kitchen. She inquires about a boy that Quinn keeps close to him, wondering if it's his son, to which Creedy tells him he rescued the boy at a village, much to Alex's surprise. Suddenly, Barlow sees a dragon and sounds the alarm, and all the soldiers arm themselves. Helicopters take off, and 3 men on motorcycles attach beacons to the ground in a triangular formation, to lure in the dragon. At the moment, Alvarez will be their archangel, meaning, he will jump out of the helicopter to distract the dragon, which is already on their tail. Van Zan is worried because the 3rd beacon is yet to be placed. One of Quinn's men hears Thar and informs Quinn that they can't act without the beacon. Quinn rushes up the mountain and finds the beacon bearer down. There, he takes the beacon and activates it himself. The dragon is closing in on the helicopter when Alcaraz and two other archangels jump off of the helicopter. The dragon chases Alvarez and the other two attack the dragon with nets. The dragon breaks free of the nets and incinerates Alvarez with its breath. Quinn then alerts Van Zan, telling him it's time for Plan B, where Quinn rides on a horseback and lead the dragon towards Van Zan. As Quinn rides towards him, Van Zan shoots an explosive, to which Quinn dodges and it hits the dragon, which then crashes down in flames. Van Zan gets closer to the dragon and take one of its teeth as a souvenir. That night, the people celebrate, but Van Zan tells them 3 people died for one dragon. Which means, people might go extinct before the dragons do. Quinn goes to the Archangel's funeral, asking them why they came. Finally, Van Zan reveals the truth that they've killed 200 dragons and all of them are females. He tells him there's only one male dragon, in London, and if they kill it, all the dragons will finally die off. When Quinn hears London, he refuses to join them, recounting that another group tried to head there at the expense of 90 lives. They argue in disagreement and Van Zan walks away. Alex wonders why he won't join them in London, and Quinn tells her the dragon they are after is in London and it's much bigger than all they've encountered. Jay informs Quinn that Van Zan is trying to recruit people for the London mission. He quickly gets into a fight with him and Van Zan furiously beats up Quinn. Meanwhile, more people follow Van Zan and they leave to fight the male dragon in London, including Jared. Later, Quinn goes to the field to gather the remains crops and he meets Jared, who has decided to stay. Quinn then inspects the dragon, only to find an egg, realizing it's actually a female dragon. Van Zan's army reach London and find ruins and carcasses in the dark. Suddenly, flames erupt from a distance and Van Zan orders the attack as there's no time to waste. As they wait, ready to attack, suddenly, a huge dragon appears and sets the whole army ablaze as Alex tries to contact them without response. As Alex reaches ground zero, she notices only Van Zan and a handful others are alive. He tells her that the dragon was big enough to burn everyone. He then remembers that the castle is in danger and runs to help. The dragon goes to the castle and sets it ablaze. When Quinn arrives, he sees the beast fly away. He tries to find his people. Jared appears trying to extinguish the fire with a fire extinguisher. They find Creedy and together, they move the children to the basement. As they reach the basement, Quinn tries to go back and get others where Creedy stops him and goes there himself instead. As he tries to leave, he is engulfed by the flames from the male dragon, but he shuts the door in time so the rest do not get burnt. Quinn, saddened by the death of his friend, sits down with the children and starts reciting a prayer. A while later, Alex and Van Zan return and meet the rest at the castle. He admits Quinn was right all along but still refuses to give up, telling Quinn that it's time for the final battle. That evening they head to London in a helicopter. As they discuss their battle plan, Quinn tells them he's familiar with the underground tunnels and they should use them to be more safe. Suddenly, dragons start flying upward in fear and the 3 don't understand why. Immediately after, a male dragon appears and devours one of the female dragons. The 3 then run and make it to the tunnels to the area that his mother died, and they divide amongst themselves explosive arrows for the male dragon. Van Zan then instructs that they should split up and take different positions. Quinn then realizes he's lost his arrows. Alex is filled with fear, but she overcomes it and starts running to lure the dragon to her so Van Zan can fire the arrow. The dragon turns and destroys the arrow with its flames. The dragon then turns to Van Zan. Seeing this, he chooses a warrior's death and he is swallowed whole by the dragon. Alex and Quinn find each other as they are chased by the dragon, and in that moment, Quinn spots the lost arrow. Alex distracts the dragon with a gun as Quinn finally loads the arrow on a crossbow. The dragon then opens its mouth ready to attack Quinn, who finally shoots the arrow into its mouth, setting it ablaze. Sometimes later, the community members build communication towers and rebuild their lives with hope for a better tomorrow. Thanks for watching. Hit that subscribe button for more recaps.